Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror. But was it better than last week's episode? Well, yes. G'day Whovians and welcome back to a brand new episode of Who Review. I hope you guys all enjoyed the brand new episode. I'm very excited to review this one. I'm going to put it out there right now. I loved this episode. It is my favourite of Series 12 so far. But let's get straight into the review. First things first, the actor that played Nikola Tesla, I'm not sure of his name, did such an amazing job. The thing about these historical episodes is that it's a really great opportunity to teach young Doctor Who fans about history and about historical figures, and I think that this episode was no exception. It was really good. I knew who Nikola Tesla was, but I learned a whole lot more about him in this episode. I didn't know a whole heap about him, and this episode taught me quite a lot, and same with Thomas Edison as well. I really loved the Doctor's entry into this episode. It was quite a little fun, action-packed intro for her. I also liked that the Doctor and Nikola Tesla kind of bonded together. It was quite a little sweet moment. I also liked when the Doctor went to confront Thomas Edison. I liked the little rivalry that they had immediately. I just want to quickly add the likeness between the actor who played Nikola Tesla and the actual Nikola Tesla. I think that was really good. Again, in this episode, I liked Ryan a lot. It feels like his character this season is getting a lot more depth and a lot more character development than in Series 11. Like I've mentioned in the past few episodes of Who Review, I didn't like Ryan in Series 11, but in Series 12 he's a lot more likeable to me. I liked that little moment in the TARDIS where Graham kind of had a bit of a spat at Thomas Edison. He wasn't putting up with Thomas Edison's bullshit in this episode. There was a couple of times throughout the episode when Graham kind of grumbled at Thomas Edison, but it was always a funny moment and it was good. He needed it. The monsters were quite cool. I quite liked the monsters. As much as I liked them in the human form, I think they looked really cool and a lot better when the Skithra were in their scorpion creature form. I also liked the Queen Skithra as well. She looked quite cool. I liked the concept of her. And if you think you recognise Queen Skithra or the actress who plays her, the actress who plays her actually played Rani in the Sarah Jane Adventures as well. I really loved seeing Nikola Tesla's reaction to the TARDIS. That was quite a cool moment. For an inventor, that was a really sweet moment. One thing I didn't like was the Skithra's plan. They wanted an engineer. Is that it? Their plan was a bit, Again, Yaz seemed a bit pointless this week. She's been a bit pointless in this episode and last week's episode. So, I don't know what's going on with Yaz. I loved seeing the Doctor and Tesla pretty much save the planet together. It was a cool moment. It was a cool ending for the episode as well. I also just want to point out that the special effects this week were so cool. I know that I mentioned this before, but I'm going to say it again. The actor that played Nikola Tesla, he did such an amazing job. I loved him as Nikola Tesla. And it kind of disappointed me that we probably won't see Nikola Tesla again in Doctor Who, but I'm very happy that we got an episode with Nikola Tesla and that he was the one who played Tesla. So, 3 things that I liked in this week's episode. Number 1, I loved the actor who played Nikola Tesla. He brought a lot of education to the episode, but it was still a good mix of sci-fi and action. Number 2, the Skithra. They were really cool monsters. Their plan was a bit, but they were really cool monsters and I liked the look of them. And number 3, the action. But more importantly, the action of when the Skithra started taking over and started arriving on Earth in the final act of the episode. The action in that scene was really cool with Yaz and Edison running the same kind of chase scene. I think the action was really cool in the final act of the episode. And 3 things that I didn't like about this episode. There is actually only 2 things I didn't like about this week's episode. Number 1, the Skithra's plan. I thought the plan was a bit rubbish for such a cool looking alien. It could have been a little bit better. And number 2, Yaz. Again, She was better than last week's episode, but she just seemed very pointless again in this week's episode. So overall, my rating for this week's episode is a 9 out of 10. I think that it was a great mix of history, humour, action, and of course sci-fi. Next week, I'm very excited for next week's episode. The Jadoon are finally back. Apart from one episode, Orphan 55, Series 12 has been such an improvement from Series 11. I'm loving this series so far. So that is it for this week's episode of Who Review. I have a new video coming out on Friday, so don't forget to come back to my channel on Friday for that, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye everyone.